In our first story, authorities at the St. Bosco Special School in Wa in the Upper West region have appealed to government and other benevolent organizations to provide them with means of transport. The lack of transport for the school, which is for autistic children, sometimes forces authorities to use their personal monies or incomes to hire taxis or other commercial means of transport or motorcycles to transport them when they are sick. Headmaster of the school, Bayo Sylvester, made the appeal when Partnership for Rural Development Action donated food items to the school at Wa. Rafiq Salam has more.
The St. Bosco Special School was first started 17 years ago on borrowed premises. The Wa School for the Deaf ceded part of its structure for it to be established until last year, when the Ghana Education Trust Fund, GET Fund, moved them to a permanent site they have constructed for them. The school has a population of 75 pupils, comprising of 45 boys and 30 girls. One may have thought that their movement to the permanent site would have either ended or at worst reduced their challenges. Apart from the issue of the irregular payment of their feeding grants, they have no means of transport. Sometimes the tutors are forced to hire taxis from their own pocket or at worst pick the sick pupils on the back of their motorbikes to attend to medical care. Bayo Sylvester is the headmaster of the school.
We actually have a lot of challenges. Even fetching for them in our various villages is a big challenge. We bring them in here and training them is equally challenging. We need a lot of helping hands, but very few of us are available. And as you can see, we are isolated. We are a bit far away from town, but here we are, we have no vehicle. Should there be an emergency, if the ambulance should fail to come, then we may be forced to rely on taxis, and it's not that easy.
In order to fill the void left for the delay in the payment of the feeding grants, the school has a backyard garden or greenhouse provided for them by the Zangov, a German-based organization, to enable them produce their own vegetables. It is not only the St. Bosco Special School that is deprived, but their former landlords as well. The World School for the Deaf, established 49 years ago, is also challenged with erratic payment of their feeding grants. Kworo Samuel Babino is the headmaster of the school.
Service our vehicle, buy fuel, we do everything that a school is supposed to pay. But other boarding homes, some of them pick fees, and DOG is many years that it has never come to our school system. And it's not only this school, it's many schools. The release of the money is not as we wish. It doesn't come very early for us to use.
Action Pruda, Ametus Nuotuo, donated 4 bags of rice, 2 gallons of cooking oil, and other items valued at 1,500 Ghana cedis.
At the situation at hand, it's actually not an easy task. So as a result, we are just a local NGO. As you know, we don't also have much funding, but as part of our social corporate responsibility, we think it's always proper to share the little that you have, especially with the most vulnerable.
Reporting for Joy News, Rafiq Salam. Wow.
And down south in Ashanti region, high electricity bills and the cost of fueling a power generator are draining the coffers of the St. Louis Senior High School in Kumasi. Authorities say they spend over some 30,000 Ghana cedis monthly and double the amount to fuel the school's generator once supply from the national grid is interrupted. Nana Sensu Mensah has more in the following report.
Headmistress Theresa Ade tells Love News the school spends over 40% of its internally generated funds on electricity at the expense of teaching and learning materials. She says the problem is compounded by frequent power outages. Ms. Ade suggests government install solar panels for supply of power to administration blocks of second cycle schools in order to reduce consumption costs.
On the average, the school pays around 30,000 cedis a month for electricity bill alone. As for water, we are lucky. We have installed our own water system, so water company does not get anything from us. But that means that the light bill goes up a little because we use electricity in pumping the water for use in the school. The lights out situation has even affected our school clinic. For example, a student will be being mobilized and then it just goes off. You have to rush, go and put on the generator. Anything at all can happen to the students. And to this end, I'm appealing to government that if they can support all the secondary schools in some area, either the administration or the school kitchen, with the solar system, is going to help the schools a lot. Because many of us don't have IGF. Even if you have, it's very little, that it cannot take care of these situations. So now that Dr. Kwokun has given the school administration this solar system.
Well, we also have to remain in some sectors, and for professionals in mental health, their patient care needs seem to be forgotten by stakeholders, and their pleas for assistance, they say, are mostly not adhered to, with very little aid coming in. They have consistently said the continuous delay of subventions from government has greatly affected their work output, sometimes forcing them to discharge patients when they have not fully recovered. And that is why every kind of support, according to them, is essential. Tuesday, members of an NGO, Live Developers Treatment, supplied most of the items needed by the Occupational Therapy Department of the Accra Psychiatric Hospital, all in bid to aid recuperating patients acquire skills. The items include bales of fabric, sewing machines with accessories, and a cash of some 2,000 Ghana cedis. Prince Atoke is vice president of the NGO.
That the occupational therapy unit was in a very deplorable state, and so it's really touched our heart, and then we decided in our own little way to do something to support the unit. And so we started mobilizing funds somewhere middle of this year, and then God being so good, we have been able to get support from various individuals, and some individuals in Ghana and then outside Ghana as well. And this is what we are seeing here today. We've been able to purchase some few items, sewing machines and some cloths and other things that the occupational therapy unit will need in the process of working. And this is not just going to be the end, but we are hoping that going into the future, we will be able to do more. And also we are using this medium to plead to the Ghanaians out there to not stigmatize and discriminate against individuals with mental illness. But most of them here are not here by choice. It's as a result of some reasons that they are here. Mental illness is just like any other disease that you can think about. So we don't need to stigmatize and discriminate against individuals with mental illness. And so we are pleading with the general public that anytime we come knocking at their doorstep to support the mental health activities, they should try and then support.
While receiving the items, a nurse at the facility, Emmanuel February, promised that the items will be put to good use.
You can see almost grateful. In fact, when it comes to occupational therapy department, normally it's supposed to be a means that will help the patient going forward. So when a person discharged from the ward, he or she doesn't become a burden to the society. Because what we do see is our patients after discharge, what happens next? They go to the house, relatives are not catering for them. The society is already neglecting them because when they are coming back, it's a sort of burden to them. The person is unemployed. So what happened to this individual? But once the OT department is put in a good shape, as they're on the ward receiving treatment, they also come here also to learn some kind of trade, and it's going to help them. So one, they're going to be beneficial to themselves, to the society, and Ghana as a whole. So there wouldn't be any burden. So the issue about mental health always needing funds wouldn't be a one-day thing. Because the person comes and is able to be productive, all of us will benefit. So seeing items like these sewing machines and the knitting, probably the general public can now come here. When you're coming to Accra Psychiatric Hospital, you're not just coming because of a patient also. You also can also walk in here, come and get the best of clothing that you can get somewhere at affordable prices. So we can assure you that we'll get the patient. You've seen some of them around. That we're going to get most of them here to start work immediately. So the next time you come, you see that the machines that you gave to us wasn't something that we just abandon and place it somewhere. We are going to make good use of it, and we ensure it goes to the benefit of the patients.
In other news, the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa, UNECA, has named President Akufo-Addo as the AU Gender Champion for 2017. President Akufo-Addo was given this award at the opening ceremony of the 29th Ordinary Session of the Assembly of the African Union, which is currently ongoing in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. In making the announcement, the President of Guinea, His Excellency Professor Alpha Condé, who is also the chairperson of the African Union, explained that the decision taken by UNECA to confer this award on President Akufo-Addo is in recognition of his effort in gender equality at the continental level. It was for this reason that UNECA named President Akufo-Addo as the African Union Gender Champion for this year, 2017. Prior to the receipt of this award, the President earlier was appointed as chairman or chairperson of the AU's Committee on Gender and Development by the AU chairperson, President Alpha Condé. And that's it for the latest news update. But before we go, Senior Minister Yaw Osafo-Maafo has noted the country's current engagement with China will be beneficial to the two parties. Some economists have criticized Ghana over its close ties with China more recently because of the Chinese current track record in Africa and other countries in Asia. But speaking in an interview in China after leading a government delegation to Jera Group headquarters in Yantai, the senior minister said a lot has to be done to avoid this challenge.
China has the technology. China has the market, and at the moment we have a very good relationship. China is the largest trading partner of Ghana today. As much as $6 billion amount of trade is between China and Ghana, and therefore the relationship is very good. It's higher than in America, it's higher than with Europe. And we think that the future is bright because China has gone through a developmental cycle which is similar to ours. By 1970, China was not developed. But today, about half a century, China is a world power and the second biggest economy of the world. And so we think that we can learn a lot from China. And we believe that China can also teach us a lot. And we coming from Africa is also very important to China because Africa is the future market. So if China is able to do very well in Ghana, it will be a signal to the rest of Africa that China is a good partner.
Well, and that's the senior minister, Yaw Osafo-Maafo, during a recent visit to China, interacting with some media personnel in that country. But in the meantime, though, we have to bring you a lot more news. We'll be looking at what the stories are on the front pages of the various newspapers, and we'll also look at some stories featured on the various online portals.